look in the mirror, man, you're so dirty. Yeah, you look so dirty. You were never worthy. Lately, it's you.
Welcome to the Jeremy Hill Show. If you're easily triggered, leave now because this is not the show for you. Now, what I will be discussing in this reaction video, I want to talk about women who are hyper independent, what that actually means to say things like, I don't need a man. Okay, we're going to get down to the real root cause of that, and it may not be what you think. Before I do that, hit the notification bell, select the option that says all once you do. That way you will be informed of all my new content. Can you dig it? Now, let me go ahead and get into this thing right quick. I want you to hear what this lady has to say. She make a valid point. Let's get it.
There are so many Black women living in isolation right now. And you know why? Because they experience such severe emotional trauma that they would rather isolate than going through it again. Let's talk about it. So I am a transformation coach, and I work with folks to get them from a place of feeling stuck into a place of power. And that could be in your career, relationships, personal development, you name it. And because most of my clients are Black women, I have noticed something, which is we have experienced in general so much trauma. And I think there is a feeling of a lack of support and a fear that I know so many fly, successful, beautiful Black women who, if you ask them what they do on the day-to-day, other than work, they stay at home. They're in.
Exactly. What I want to show you is that women are isolating themselves from society to an extent because of hurts, pains, and traumas that they have experienced. Whenever you find a woman who say, I don't need a man, if you point out the woman who says that, that's a woman who's been traumatized and hurt from past relationships. All these women who say things like, I don't need a man, I can do bad by myself, I pay all the bills. A woman who live her life displaying hyper independence, she can do everything on her own, don't need a man, yada, yada, yada. These majority of the time are women who have been traumatized as a result of making bad decisions when it comes to dating men. These women think that it's a badge of honor to separate themselves or to announce that they can do everything on their own and that they don't need any men. What they are doing actually is isolating themselves away from potential hurts and heartbreaks. Women, since they are emotional, they tend to experience certain emotions stronger than men. So when a woman actually get her heart broke, it's different for her. It's different for us too now, don't get it wrong. But women are cowardly a lot of times when it comes to heartbreaks. They don't want to get hurt again and stuff like that. The thing is, they isolate themselves in bitterness. They isolate themselves in loneliness. They isolate themselves in just ostracizing themselves from the rest of the public. You see them walking around every day. They can have conversations with you every day, but at the same time, they don't want to be hurt. So all these women, I hope I answered that say those type of things that I've mentioned before, they are just isolating themselves out of fear. It's a fearful ideology where every man that comes into their lives may be bad to them, hurt them, verbally abusive, physically abusive. It's only fear. And sometimes therapy don't get rid of that unless it's years and years of it. Let's keep going.
They're inside. And it's not just because they have beautiful apartments. We do. We work hard and we love to decorate and we love to live a nice lifestyle. But it's not that. It's that what you've been through was so painful that the fear of experiencing that again has driven you into isolation. But here's something I want to offer. There is a phase of healing that happens by yourself, right? And I'm not talking about this as a person that hasn't personally gone through it. I have worked on healing myself after getting out of a 13-year relationship in which I was engaged. Okay, so Auntie is telling you this because she understands, right? There is a phase of healing that has to happen by yourself. And that is when you get to understand your patterns of behavior. You get to understand your mother and father wounds if you have them, and how that causes certain patterns in relationships. You get to learn your own attachment styles. You get to learn how you show up in relationships. You get to learn about boundaries, all of these different things. Now, the only way that you can continue that healing process is to deal with other people. And I hate to tell you that, but it's the truth. And here is why. You can't apply anything that you've learned, right? So let's say, for example, you've learned that you have an attachment style that needed work. And so you work on it. But how can you really fully work on it if you are not in relationship with someone else?
Exactly. First thing what she said, which was correct. Taking time to look at your mistakes. See, a lot of women, they get out of relationships with men that might have been abusive, or they just got traumatized or hurt by that last relationship from Pookie, Ray Ray, or Nook Nook. And they tend to never blame themselves. They always tend to blame the person that they were dating, married to, or engaged to, or just in an intimate relationship with for everything that went wrong. Okay. They don't never take self-accountability and say, I have a pattern. Like she says right then, I have a pattern, what I call it a type. The type that a woman has is the behavioral patterns and the attractiveness of a certain man that they are attracted to. Okay. They hardly ever just take a look at that and say, look, my type is harmful for me. I have to mature. I have to find someone else that can actually give me what I need as opposed to what I want. You get what I'm saying? So they don't never really take time to heal. See, that's part of healing too. Healing is not just getting over the pain and moving past the pain and getting with someone else. Healing is also taking time to reflect and understand where you have failed so that you won't make the same mistakes again. That is also healing. Now, the second part she said about you have to know how to heal with someone else in your life, which is true. You have to apply all these things. If you say, okay, I don't want to be with a thug dude no more because every time I'm with a thug dude, this happens. I always have this outcome. It's always unfavorable. I'm always in trouble. I'm getting my credit messed up. I'm getting beat on and stuff. Okay. Once you understand that, once you take self-accountability for putting yourself in those type of relationships, now you have to apply what it is that you understood about yourself in another relationship with a man that is opposite of what you had before. And it's going to be foreign ground. It's going to be different. It's going to be difficult. It's going to be challenging because if you get a man that is a good man, he's going to have standards and he's going to have expectations of you. So now you have to change. Now you have to put forth effort because Pookie didn't care what you did. Pookie just wanted to get some coochie and to use you for everything that you have. But when you got a good man who's productive, he don't need all that. He just needs someone that's going to have his back. Someone that's going to support him and be respectful at the same time and know when to shut the fuck up. You get what I'm saying? So unfortunately, a lot of women can also half-ass heal themselves. They can look in the mirror and do all the things I just said. Take self-accountability. Understand what it is that they did wrong. Understand that they chose to be in these bad relationships. Understand that they are attracted and lust after men that are not good for them. But then they will not apply the pressure or the efforts to be with a good man. Because being with a good man is challenging, especially for a mustard back heifer who been a mustard back heifer for over 20 plus years, who keep on choosing men who keep going in and out of jail, men who keep doing wrong in the streets, men out here stealing hubcaps, ribs, and chain snatchers. That's a different change. So a lot of times women don't want to be in good relationships. They don't know how to handle good men. And they are afraid of trying because they are fearful that they will fail. But my thing is, you've been failing already. Try something new.
And given the opportunity to choose differently than you did in the past, right? You don't get to see how well you can uphold boundaries. You don't get to see, you know, the new evolved version of yourself until you put yourself in a relationship with other people. And that doesn't have to be romantic. That could be friendships, family, you name it. But I think what happens is that initial hurt was so rough that we just retreat entirely out of self-protection. But here's what I want you to remember, and please hear me when I say this. You have done the work, which means that you are more knowledgeable now than you were. You're stronger now than you were. You have more boundaries than you had before, which means it is safe to go back outside.
Yeah. But the thing is, they have to believe that it's safe. I'm gonna tell you something. It ain't never safe. It ain't never safe to go outside. No, what the hell y'all talking about? Damn, she was leading me that way. Now, there ain't nothing safe out there. Every time you deal with anybody, there's a risk to it. Anyone that you date, man, woman, whatever, there's a risk to it. They may do you wrong. They might not. It's just the truth of it. But you got to get out there. You just can't be afraid. So a lot of you women who out there say, hey, I'm strong. I'm independent. You know, I'm a savage and all that stuff. Most times y'all just scared as hell of getting hurt. Y'all being hurt. And you're isolating yourself as a way of protecting yourself from being hurt. And you're doing it the wrong way. Trying to isolate yourself to keep from being hurt is not addressing the root problem. The root problem is you desiring men that ain't shit, as opposed to desiring men who is. You get all these bastard kids, all these different baby daddies. You have a pattern there. Ain't got nothing to do with the bad men or the good men. It's you. You the common denominator. You the one making the bad decisions. So you isolate yourself. But it's funny that during the times of isolation, they don't stop fucking. They keep that going. But when it comes to relationships and stuff, they won't give their heart over fully. They always think it ain't gonna work. They enter into relationship with their guards up, their swords pulled out, their shields raised, always expecting for something bad to happen. That's trauma. Been traumatized. Well, anyway, I'll be talking to y'all pretty soon. Y'all take it easy now, yeah?